let me click this thing, and then let me click this thing, and then I'll double click this thing, and then it'll start. Oh my goodness, reflecting on 2024 content and looking forward to 2025, full stop, by me, inspired by shitty Elite RE. Can you believe it? Here we are. We did something like this 2 years ago, I believe, where we did a PowerPoint with the same background images and stuff, because they just like duplicated it and then edited it over the top. Though this time we're much better. We got statistics and graphs this time. It's inspired by an idea Elite RE does every year, where he looks back over the goals he had in the previous year and where he ended up and all this great stuff. I'm sure those videos might be linked in the description below if I remember, if you want to check those out. It's the middle of the day and it's fucking hot here. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going over the things. Look, this is one of the things. How exciting. We're going to be going through scripted videos, unscripted videos, video essays, video essay consumption, normal consumption, comparing things, talking about what worked, what didn't, how we're going to improve going forward. We're going to give you a sneak preview of what hopefully is coming up in the coming year. All very exciting things. Here we have video output year over year. Is that what year over year means? Comparing it each year? Who knows? But year over year sounds cool to say, so I'm going to keep saying it throughout the video, I'm sure. We have the great 2020 with 33 scripted uploads. Can you believe it? Plus, there were unscripted uploads that year. My goodness, that's why we exploded. We'll get to the stats and the views and the stuff year over year, and you'll see that the great 2020 is actually not usually on the top. Usually it's 2021. But I'm spoiling everything. 2021, 9 videos. 2022, 9 videos. 2023, 2 videos. 2024, 6 videos. So, looking at this graph, we're bigly up, chat. Nearly 300% or something. Is that how percentage works? Because it's like times 3 equals, and maybe, I don't even know. The point is, we are slightly better than last year, but last year, I was also not here for 3 months out of the year, and I was only not here for 6 weeks out of the year this year, so should we have made up the difference? Probably. And looking forward to 2025, should we be up bigly? Should we be back up to 20 uploads or something? We can only wish. I feel like 12 is probably a better aim. That's 1 a month. But really, we could do 1 every 2 weeks, and that's 24, and my goodness. But obviously also at the end of 2022, I got my job. All of 2023, when I was here, I was working the job. And all of 2024, when I was here, I was working the job. So that does stymie things a little bit. Though even when I had absolutely nothing else to do, still only getting 9 videos out both of these years is pretty dreadful. So, we've just been on a streak of laziness that apparently we didn't have in 2020. Though remembering back, I don't remember anything explicitly different. So who knows what the fuck is going on. There are mitigating factors, of course. Going into 2025, kind of like when going into 2024, I don't really know what the year ahead holds. My living situation could be completely different, which would probably lead to a much better video output, because then maybe I could record whenever I wanted and I could do a bunch of face cam stuff or stuff like that. So really all we can do is plead with myself that I will be better in 2025, but we will see. Also, did I mention that 2020 here includes the 8 Patreon uploads, exclusive videos that I think I ended up uploading in like 2021 just to the main channel. So that does put the numbers up a little bit, but those are still very much videos I made. Now I remember getting to the back end. The Patreon videos are sort of the downfall of the channel, because I remember, I think for a bunch of those months at the end of 2020, those might have been the only videos I made, which is, really bad. Because it was a deadline and I have to focus on this rather than other things, and that was the beginning of the downfall here, with a big drop-off. Also, obviously, we were making videos at the end of 2018 and at the beginning of 2019, but because the channel was deleted, we don't really have data on that, so I didn't include it. Though, I believe this channel, well, no, this is on secondary ENT, but the main channel was made in September of 2019, so there would have been some stats. There probably would have been 5 or 6 uploaded, and then I would have re-uploaded a bunch of videos, but all those re-uploads were probably from 2019, so I could have counted it, but I didn't. So anyway, shut the fuck up. Anything else to say about scripted statistics here? No, these are just our outputs. It's exactly what you sort of expected. I've always got my eye on these things, so it's not like any of these stats surprise me. Like maybe some other ones will down the line. But before we get into other stats, we got to rank our scripted videos. Now, I did. Why am I such a yawny motherfucker? I didn't rewatch any of these videos for this. So my memory's not the best, and these might not be the most accurate rankings. I'm just sort of going off my perception of them now that they've happened. The worst video of the year was the Footy ENT one. Does a loss to the Storm ruin the Panthers dynasty? I am kind of happy and proud of this video. This is a video I made in like 12 hours. It ended up being like 5 or 6 minutes, and it ended up doing pretty well. It only had like 12 hours or maybe less to even be relevant because I uploaded it like the day before the game happened that would answer this question. Now, this question didn't have to be answered because the Panthers did win. But I am sort of, I don't want to say proud of this video, but I am happy I made it. It was a good exercise to be like, you can make a like 5-minute video, like, on the fly in like 12 hours if you really try. Sort of prove that to myself. Not that I really did that again afterwards, but also we'll talk about later with plans going forward, but I do want to make more football related videos, but we'll talk about more of that then. The video itself is fine. I think it's an interesting idea. It's a little rougher than some of the other scripted videos, again, because I made it so quickly, and part of the point was to just make it quickly and see if you get it out. See if I could get it out. The thumbnail is also pretty terrible. But yeah, it's a video. It's got an idea. It's not very polished, but we're happy we got it out. So even though it is number 6, you know, I'm optimistically happy about that video. Then we go into our worst Kyle Entertainment upload, I think, which is Emma Darcy's Rhaenyra needed this scene, which is probably the most, well, number 3 might be more recap heavy, actually. But this is kind of a line-by-line analysis with some added in Millie Alcock worship in there, which is interesting. I feel like maybe I like this video a little more than I'm giving it credit for here. I do think my philosophy in especially, and now I've talked about this a little bit before, but some videos' purpose are to like be, to like say, seem good. And I find if you're going to do an individual video on a scene, sort of retelling the scene is almost the best way to have people acknowledge that it's good. But at that point, why don't you just say, go rewatch the fucking scene and then you'll see? But you do add in these little bits of commentary here to sort of emphasize elements, and I think it is very good at getting across the point. Now, this scene is rather long, and part of the video takes into, like, you need background for it. And sort of it is, these videos are more like number 5 and number 3, and especially number 1, are more so just relaying my experience with a scene of like, oh, this was a big moment for Emma Darcy's Rhaenyra to me. This is when I was like, oh my god, they're the best. Oh my god, I got the pronouns right. Everybody clap for me. And the Narrative Destiny one is like, oh, this is my favorite moment in Madoka or my favorite moment in Diebuster. And it's sort of like, it really is just recapping them and adding sort of little observations here and sort of making the point more obvious in case you maybe missed it, which is probably more the case with the Madoka segment than the Diebuster segment. Though even in the Diebuster segment, it is sort of laying out how the subversion works if you're in tune with it. Jesus Christ, I swear to God I haven't yawned at all today. Where was I at? The sort of recapping your experience with something. I guess there is a bit of added here. And then this is more number 1, which is the Last of Us one. I guess I'm spoiling the list. Haha, it's on screen. Is more so a fan experience, like a hardcore fan's experience with the marketing of The Last of Us Part 2, which is why I think that is just the stronger video, because it is a more interesting concept than like an experience maybe a lot of people had just watching the show, like re-emphasized, maybe from a slightly different my perspective than their perspective. That's sort of inversed with number 4 and number 2, which is the Berserk video and the Devilman video, which are more idea videos of like, oh, this is an idea I noticed, sort of explained. I do think I find that these like re-explaining my experience with things kind of end up being the more invested videos from the audience, because I feel like passion in a sense is like palpable through these, whereas it's probably less the case with the Devilman and the Berserk one. Though in the Devilman one, the first like 5 minutes of that video is just recapping the final volume of Devilman, and I feel like that is also, the narrativization there is also well done. Obviously, I think that Devilman video has the best idea, and that's why it's at number 2. So like, the ranking is sort of just, the Amadasi video is probably the worst of the retelling experience one. The Guts Griffith and Berserk's corpse motif, I always forget what I've even, like, what I say for like 8 minutes or however long this video is. So that's why it kind of has to be up here. The Narrative Destiny one is the video that did the best this year. I think it's at like 5.5k likes, and there's a bunch of comments about how much they love the video and how much they cried at the Diebuster part. So that's really good, but also it is just sort of like recapping stuff, so it's like, it can't really be the best video. I like the descriptive versus prescriptive one. I like this video a lot. I like the ideas in it. I like the format. I like the presentation. I like everything about this video. And then obviously the Last of Us Part 2 video is like one of my favorite videos I've ever made. I rewatch it all the time, though that is mostly for the clips and stuff. But I think it's very interesting. I've talked about how I would love this to be, it's to start like a genre of videos where people go through how individual games and stuff were marketed, and sort of the community beats as it happened, and what the opinions of the community were, because a lot of the time that is sort of washed away. It's kind of more poignant to the washing away in the Last of Us 2 case, because obviously the leaks happen, and there's a lot of controversy, and sort of perception immediately shifted, and it's sort of like a forgotten mindset that people were in, and sort of their anticipation for the game, etc., etc. So it's more of an interesting story in that sense to be retold in a video. But yeah, that's my order of what I think are my favorite videos. Maybe you should comment below what your ranking of the videos are, because maybe the Amadasi one is your favorite and you just want to tell me all about it, and the Last of Us Part 2 one is just boring. It is sort of the quality versus quantity thing, because the Last of Us video is the least viewed video out of the year. The top 2 are probably the least viewed ones, because, you know, I'm cool and I make good videos, not popular videos, guys. Don't mind me when I'm going to complain for the next 3 slides about how videos don't do well. Anyway, videos good this year. Were they? I don't know. I kind of look at this output and I'm like, I need to make like a great video that's like long and has all these elements and marries them all together. I've got some ideas for videos that can potentially be like that we'll talk about later, because we're going to talk about like videos we plan to make and everything. Now we've got statistics views, and we've got these are by K. Oh, never mind, because I put the zeros in, because I used Adobe to make all these cool graphs, but they wouldn't let you put like the commas or the K. So I just wanted to do 735K, but no, you had to type it out. But these are individual views. Obviously, 2020 into 2021 were the big ones, though 2021 was bigger. Now, I think the Griffith video had its biggest blow-up between these years, and then between these years. So it's kind of interesting, because a lot of these views are carried by like 3 videos, which is the Griffith video, the Black Lagoon video, and then the Sopranos video. And then the Baltic Sea War video kind of bubbles up whenever I change the thumbnail in here somewhere. So this isn't really indicative of channel success. I guess that in and of itself is like indicative of the lack of channel success, since all 3 of those videos came out in 2020, and none of the videos I've made here have made a big enough impact for them to change the line of the graph or anything like that, which is something we'll definitely hope to do next year, because it is just a downward spiral here. The biggest video I uploaded this year got 5k views. That doesn't account for much of this. If you add all of the views of the videos I made this year, it's probably, not even 5% of the overall viewership here. And that's probably the same for all of these years. Because, yeah, all my biggest videos are from this year. Though this is skewed a little bit, because there are unscripted Attack on Titan chapter reviews that were getting like 10k views every month, plus like last minute predictions that were getting similar amounts every month. Obviously, it's only at the beginning, the first 4 months of 2021, but it is through all of 2020. So that kind of offsets things, because it's not till the beginning of 2022, I think, where I start secondary ENT and put all the unscripted stuff over there. Though we can check the statistics later. So this one is, it's not exactly like this one. but the next 3 graphs, including this one, will mirror each other, right? We've got the same. Oh, at the end, actually, subscribers doesn't always. But watch time, which is also, this is by hours. So 65,000 hours, 73,000 hours, 41,000 hours, 33,000 hours, 21,000 hours. Now, what I said here is about no new videos not really affecting any of this. The Madoka video does have good retention. It's got like an 8-minute average like view or something. And if I look at watch time, it is like the 5th most watch time I've gotten this year. So it sort of did affect this one. So that's kind of a positive. I think I looked at briefly at the watch time for a bunch of these videos, more so 3 and 1. And they were both really good. Like, I think the Last of Us video is like 7 minutes also, which is good. I like that. But yeah, so watch time is also the same sort of trend, though a little better in this regard because of Madoka actually influencing things here. Again, all we can hope is that going into the next year, we'll skyrocket up, be back up to 2021 numbers. Let's go. Subscribers is a little different because obviously when the channel is newer, it's going to get more subscribers. Subscribers also don't matter, but they're also the one we all care about the most, so we should focus on this. But again, this is just a straight downward trend. We started the year with 9K. We're going to end the year with 9K. We only got 540 subscribers this year. Hopefully that'll go up a little bit next year too. But again, this is just a bit of a downward trend. Maybe I should title this video like how I fell off or something. Maybe that would get the big views. That would be crazy. Now we've got actual discussion. What worked, what didn't work, and what are our plans moving forward? What worked? I think the writing and the narrativizing improved. I've kind of already talked about this a little bit, but yes, I do think these get better year over year. But obviously people don't know that before they click on the video, and our biggest thing is sort of getting people to click on the video, which we kind of need poppy thumbnails, good titles, and nice subject matter, etc., to get that. Narration has gotten better this year. I think that's also gets better year over year. Jokes get better year over year. It's less cringe year over year. I think all of these kind of come into the same concept of like, I know how to joke and how to get points across better in a scripted format. Like I feel like now the way I talk in unscripted content and scripted content is kind of similar. It's kind of one narrative voice, whereas before unscripted was probably wacky and funny and cool, whereas scripted video was kind of cringy and unconfident, etc., So I think I've sort of unified those more as I've progressed, and I think that's really good. I think that just comes with years of practice. There are 2 other things here where I have re-recording lines into the video creation process. I've very rarely ever done this, and obviously you should always do this. Like, it is literally an editing process where it's like, you'll get to the end, you'll be editing the video, and you'll be like, oh, this line kind of like peters out here, and you can't really hear the end of it. I should probably re-record that. Or this one, I had to splice 2 lines together, and there's a little bit of an awkward, like you can tell if you really listen for it. And you're like, oh, I should re-record that so it sounds better, and sort of polishing things. For the Last of Us Part 2 video, which I was kind of forced to do because some of the lines were just like had corrupted and like had skipped things in the recording session, so I did have to re-record them. But then I also re-recorded a bunch of lines that just weren't as good. And then I didn't do that for the Madoka video, but I almost did. But I think this is definitely something I should do a lot moving forward, because when you're listening back to it, you sort of have a better mindset for what the video is supposed to be, and therefore you can, like, you know what the line needs to hit, what you want it to hit. So re-recording lines and having extra polish on videos is definitely important. Especially if we want to make good videos. Because at least if they don't get a lot of views or something, at least they can be like good videos. Because again, I look at this sort of output of videos and I'm like, I guess I like most of them, but I don't love any of them really. Maybe number 1, but like, I don't know. I remember being like so proud of core themes and changing context or something when it came out, or any of the Attack on Titan ending videos or anything like that. Even the Black Lagoon old videos when they actually came out. Now they're kind of trashy. But I haven't really gotten that feeling for a while, and I think that's also something we should move more into. Footy NTN as a concept is something I definitely want to focus on. I think it definitely has a lot of potential, because there is like a burgeoning space on YouTube for these types of discussions, but there's news clips from the actual news channels like Fox League and 9 News. They both have very big channels talking about rugby league, which is all experts and journalists, really. And then there's a bunch of NRL players that now have podcasts and stuff like that. Those are very popular. And then there are some sort of fan-esque podcasts. And then there is a video essay scene that gets like, they'll get like 10k views a video or something. Those first ones are pretty good. Like all the shows, obviously they're highly produced if they're from the actual TV networks and like professional seeming podcasts from players with producers and stuff. The video essay space kind of sucks, and the commentary space around that, where it's sort of unscripted videos, kind of sucks too. So I think there is an opening for somebody with an actual brain to come in and actually say stuff and have like interesting things to say. And I also think there's a market there, and I think I'm like confident in knowing enough about things and having unique enough opinions to really drive that home. I think, especially because we are in preseason now, obviously the video views and stuff would ramp up as we get to the actual on season. That's not really what you call it, but the actual season. I definitely want to think about this. I have a million ideas for things I would want to do with this. So in 2025, it might be the year of Footy Anti. Maybe I retire this shitty media analysis channel and I'll become a rugby league not journalist. It could be great. But this is absolutely like one of the top things I have this year as like a goal of things I want to expand. And even then I can count it in my scripted video accounts and stuff, where you can have Footy ENT on here next time and be analysing it. What didn't work? Ideas significantly lacking that made it into videos. That Bacon video gave me an existential crisis. Jockey Bacon made a Heimerdinger video that I thought was very, very good and reminded me of sort of old videos I would make where it's got a point and it's so fleshed out and it's like, oh my god, everybody in the audience is like, I didn't even think about this and this is genius and how did he connect all these things together and my goodness. And then I realized I used to make videos like that and maybe I should make videos like that again. But I've kind of already talked about this too, where it's like, oh, these are like experiences with something retold, or these are sort of ideas. Like the descriptive versus prescriptive one is an idea I've had for like 5 years and I've wanted to make a lot, and I think it is a good idea. So I do like that video. And then the Berserk Corpse motif is like a smaller idea that's not as cool, but it was just like, oh, what an idea, let me make it into a video. It's all on like a smaller scale, but really, having big, smart ideas is something that didn't really work this year that we can look forward to next year. Output, not enough videos to build momentum. This is obviously true. We need to upload more. We've talked about this already. Editing has remained about the same quality, manga panel / footage only. This is true, and this probably won't be improving. I don't really care to learn. I could just learn how to do cool editing, I guess. And maybe at some point, I have thought about it more recently, where I was like, oh, there's like tutorials and stuff, and I could figure out how to do things, or I could learn how to do After Effects or something and make the videos prettier. Because a lot of the times when I'm making a video, I'm like, oh, it would be really cool if this could happen. And then I'm like, is this a small enough idea that I can pressure Lead RE into doing it for me? Like I did with that Momo segment in the Diebuster video where I had him add like a film grain to an image. I know, big stuff. But yeah, I always have ideas for that. I just have no idea how to even start executing them. But then I'm like, oh, I just put a fucking panel there and let's move on. So yeah, that's like something that didn't work that we're probably not going to improve year over year. But we'll see. Plans moving forward. Let's not fuck around anymore. 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, or I will kill myself and quit. How about that? Now, will it be on the Footy ENT channel? My goodness, maybe. Initially, I was like, fuck it. I'll do a big slide and I'll put 100,000 on there and just dream big. Dream for the stars, or whatever Buzz Lightyear says. But then I'm like, 50,000 is good enough. I feel like nobody really jumps like 100,000 subscribers in a year unless you're megally popular. And I don't think the videos I would make would necessarily be megally popular. Even if I executed them perfectly and exactly how I wanted to. So fuck it, we'll just say 50,000 if I don't get there. If we make goals, that means we have to have at least 10k by the end of January, otherwise what the fuck are we doing? We gotta have 15k by the end of February, otherwise what the fuck are we doing? We gotta have 20k and then we gotta keep going. We'll see if we're hitting our projections. If it's like March and I'm barely over 10k, somebody send this to me and tell me to get my ass in gear, if you know what I'm saying. Improved output / more videos, Lamau. Surely at least 12 videos, right? We've talked about this. Better ideas. We've talked about this. Making all the outstanding legacy videos. This is an important thing. I want to sort of, these videos that I've been meandering about for like 3 or 4 years, they've just got to come out this year. So we're going to make those fucking Last of Us videos. We kind of made a Last of Us video, but kind of not the ones I've been talking about forever. I have already recorded like the first part of Wary Tenderness and have edited even a little bit of it. So what the fuck are we doing here? We need to get a Madman video out. We need to get the Appeal of Chainsaw Man out. It must come out this year in like the first 3 months, all right? We got to get the Appeal of fucking Chainsaw Man out. We got to get these Pokemon anime videos out. We can't just be in the same position talking about making these same videos at the end of next year. They got to be coming out. Now, a Pokemon anime video will be the next video, so that'll be checked off the list a little bit. Will we get the whole ranking out this year? We can only pray. But yes, I don't know if there's other legacy videos that I've been talking about forever that I should get out, but those are certainly the biggest ones. The Appeal of Chainsaw Man and the Last of Us video are musts. More focused, directed to footy NTN, especially ramping into the 2025 NRL season. We have talked about this. So that is, I think that's the end of our, yes, it's at the end of our scripted thing. So basically, the message is the same it always is, but maybe we finally have the discipline to act on it. More scripted videos. Better scripted videos. Let's go. Okay. Into the unscripted videos. Now I have the statistics year over year. 2021. I think 2021, that means I started ordinary RE, or not shitty ordinary RE, secondary ENT in 2021. Though we do have the ordinary RE statistics counted in here. Now obviously, this is an upward trend, which is very different from all the downward trends we've been seeing. But also, I don't know if this is a good thing. I don't know if this upward trend is causing the other downward trend because we're focusing too much on unscripted content, which is maybe the case, but a lot of the time I think it's not the case. It's just like two completely different mindsets. It's not like I have this much time and I'm going to allocate it to working on things. My working on things very much relates to my motivation for working on things, and the motivations come from two different spots, so they really probably don't cannibalize each other, though the graph lines don't lie. But anyway, in 2021, we had no ordinary RE content because that piece of shit channel didn't exist yet. So we had 31 scripted videos. Then in 2022, we had 5 appearances on ordinary RE, which accounted into this total of 62 unscripted videos. Then in 2023, we've skyrocketed to 16 ordinary RE appearances, adding up to the total of 70 unscripted uploads. And then in 2024, we have skyrocketed again to 22 appearances on ordinary RE, though I did include the stream clips here. Which in total is numbered to 100 unscripted uploads. This is probably what I expected. I don't know if I expected this bump to be as big. Though again, I was out for 3 months, so this one probably could have gotten a lot more if I'd continued that, and they probably would have been more even. Going into the future, maybe we should reduce this, maybe not. This is like averaging like about 2 scripted things a week, which is kind of good, I think. We've also always got Chainsaw Man carrying us more recently too. But we'll see. We'll continue talking about this. Now, I didn't rank like my favorite unscripted stuff. I'll talk about the stuff I kind of liked later. But this is very interesting, and I'd forgotten about this until I'd seen this now. But we did actually have our best year for views on secondary ENT. Now, this isn't counting any of the ordinary RE uploads in these calculations. This is just from my secondary ENT statistics. 2021 is up into 2022, then down for 2023, then up again for 2024, with our biggest year ever by a small margin. Now, there's another thing where I will say more of the actual uploads this year affects these views here compared to the Kyle Entertainment channel. But there is a lot of legacy views on even secondary ENT with a lot of the movie night episodes. Because of the length of the movie nights, a lot of people click on them thinking it's the actual movie. And so like the watch time is like 3 seconds. But like I think the Casablanca one and the Japan's Longest Day one both have like 5,000 views or something. Plus there's like the Hana Hana videos that have a bunch of views, etc., etc. But we did make videos that get views. The odd Chainsaw Man chapter review will just get 1,000 views out of nowhere or something like that. Though not a lot else gets a lot of views. Now obviously I had all the music lists and stuff like that did get a lot of views this year. Tier lists get a lot of views, but we'll talk about all that in a bit. But that's a win for 2024. It might be our only one in all of these graphs, I think, because if we look at watch time, 2022 is our biggest one by far. Oh my god. Now I'm kind of nervous that I just didn't change. Oh no, I did change because there's a less zero. I was like, oh my god, did I just not change the number? But no, it is a different number. But this is kind of more of what you would expect. Like 2022 is the biggest year, and then this year is the second biggest, and we've got ups and downs here, so that's kind of interesting. Um, Again, probably less movie night because I think I started movie night at the end of 2022. So less like clicking off movie night views and more actual views for 2022. Then subscribers is kind of the opposite, right? Because we had the big, obviously, when the channel's first announced, a lot of people subscribe. And then it's a little bit less, and then a little bit, and then a lot more less, and then a little bit more again. So we're up a little bit here. Though it is in a funny stance where I'm usually like getting 2 subscribers and then losing a subscriber or something on secondary ENT. But we'll kind of look forward to how we can change that and stuff in these slides. So what worked for unscripted videos? Tier lists get a lot of views. That's very true. The song lists were fun. True, that was probably the most fun I had making videos this year, and they were very fun to put out and to do all the reactions for them too with the RE and stuff like that. That was a great time. That was a great idea, an idea that was like that I'd kind of come up with. When usually for these unscripted things, it's a lot of me copying Elite RE ideas, but we'll talk about that in a second. Incorporating Reddit into the Chainsaw Man reviews has unironically probably helped those chapter reviews. It elongates them. It helps it be a little bit more interesting. It's usually pretty funny. The people seem to like it. They bring it up whenever that is actually brought up. We have the skipping to the Reddit meme, etc., etc. So yeah, Chainsaw Man. That was a good idea. Bacon and Mia inclusions into the discussions more often. Discussions are actually fun. True. These discussions are probably my favorite content I make. Everybody watching something and then nobody saying what they think about it until we get to it. The beginnings of those discussions and like the nervous weight of like what did people think is like really interesting, really fun. The tension's there. I do like our dynamic now. I used to like and we're going to kind of split this up because I think we're going to pair off a bit more into 2025 rather than doing everything as a big group, though we will have our big group projects. I liked doing a lot of things with just Elite RE. But then towards the end, it started to become me and Elite RE fighting a lot, which is fun. But it was definitely very different to like Black Sails, where we're both just jerking each other off about how this is the greatest show of all time. And even Chainsaw Man was like that, where we're like, oh, it's so great, and whatever else we did in the middle there. And then I think Chainsaw Man was kind of the start of it with the beginning and the disagreement over what Chainsaw Man was about and if it was funny or something. And then we got into Arcane and Mushoku Tensei that were much more, what do you call it? Advantageous? No. We were fighting more. And sort of the appeal for a little time was like me and RE were very much on the same wavelength of things. On things. That was sort of less and less became the case, and I think that's always going to become the case when you're around somebody more. Like little things about what they think about things will annoy you, and then you'll get into the funny overcorrecting game and stuff like that. Adding Mia and Bacon to these discussions. Now, obviously, they were both in the discussions for Vinland Saga Season 2 that we did a few years ago. I think it started with Gunbuster, right? Was that the first one? Because we just got Mia into them, I think. Because Bacon couldn't really do it, and we did Gunbuster and Diebuster, and that was fun. And then obviously we did Fire Punch with everybody. I think they all bring different things, because I feel like I align with each of them. They're like my 3 separate personalities, and if you merge them all together, you get me or something, where it's like, well, Ari is probably going to have like the good faith, subjective opinion. Like we're going to agree on that if that ever comes up. Me and Mia seem to like the same things more commonly, and the same things about things, which is more interesting. And then Bacon's going to have sort of the old internet sort of, not even necessarily cynical takes, because these aren't like overarching things for each individual person, but these are just the things that sort of I would latch onto. So we will get to certain parts, especially in the Fire Punch discussion, where I would be like, oh, it's like you're sort of looking for allies in the like debate, and depending on the topic, my ally would change, and it was very interesting. So I kind of like the dynamic there of sort of like people that like different things about things, and then sort of discussing it in that manner. Like even with like Mia really likes Togata just like me, and Bacon was like, oh whatever, and then Ari didn't like him. Her, I can't even remember anymore. Then you switch to something else, like the last bit. Mia didn't like the last bit that much. But Ari obviously liked it the best, and then Bacon was again in the middle, and it's like, oh, it's like we gotta. I sort of understand where everybody would land now, I think, and it's fun for the discussions. I definitely like those discussions. Part of me is like we should just put them all on Ordinary RE because they get way more views. Because those Fire Punch videos didn't get very many views, and I guarantee they would have got more on Elite RE's channel. But we'll see moving forward. I've sort of outlined the plans for what we're going to be doing, or what we've sort of got lined up for these discussions later in the PowerPoint, I think. What didn't work for unscripted videos? We got too insular in topics and titles, unlike Ordinary RE. Too many copied ideas from Ordinary RE. So, Ordinary RE now has more subscribers than Secondary ENT. Can you believe it? Let's all kill ourselves. Disgusting. What a shitty channel, right? Ari can just like make a thumbnail and he'll talk about a topic like he somehow like got 600 views talking about that fucking honey thing. And like that's something I would never do, but it's like, oh, this like gets a lot of views. Because basically all the views from Secondary ENT come from the subsection of my fans that are subscribed that are still engaged with the channel. I'm not really drawing outside views for anything but the larger topic things. Like for tier lists, I can. For those song lists, I can. But even for Chainsaw Man chapter reviews, I guess you can if people are Googling for it. But like everything else is just sort of like you have to already be invested in everything that's going on with me to even care about any of this. Whereas Ari will just react to that Mauler video and upload it and get a bunch of views. And he does this all the time like that. Didn't he get views on that fucking coloring manga panel controversy or something? The point is he makes videos about wider topics that, like, he doesn't treat it like a second channel, he just treats it like another channel. Whereas I'm like, my second channel, obviously it's supposed to be smaller and it's just supposed to be for the people that care. But I think, because we got to catch up and beat Ordinary RE, that's our biggest scripted channel goal, is we got to get back in front and subscribers. Fuck this little pussy. What was my point, before I started insulting? Trying to get wider audiences or wider views into the channel is interesting. The discussion videos are never going to do that because you have to very specifically be looking for like a Fire Punch discussion, which is like, who today is looking for a Fire Punch discussion unless there's somebody that's like literally just finished it, which is already going to be a very low percentage of people. So the only people that are going to see that video are going to be my subscribers who have also seen Fire Punch, which is a subsection of a subsection of a subsection of a subsection. Plus maybe everybody else's audience if they retweet the tweet. Whereas, like, even with Elite RE, like, he had the X-Men discussion on his channel, and like, oh, that was right when the X-Men movies were popping, so yeah, like, that's gonna get views. And we're gonna do Star Wars soon, and obviously that's gonna get views, and RE's done Star Wars stuff on his channel before, and, like, etc., etc. Plus, Star Wars is very popular. Much more popular than something like Fire Punch. So it is just, like, the insularness of the channel kind of has to change if we want to get more popular. I guess I just have to think about things. I do have some ideas for it. Like, I always had the idea of, like, I'm going to read, like, a bunch of Kentaro Miura interviews and then come back with, like, a presentation of what I've learned or something. Like, that's an interesting second channel video. Or doing that for Isayama. Or I think I'm going to have notes on another slide with ideas like that. But there are ideas like that. It's also, like, how much... A lot of the time, my second channel content is just be... like, oh, I had an idea, let me go record it. There's not a lot of pre-planning, whereas Elite RE will pre-plan things. Also, he'll clips stuff out of his streams a lot more. But usually things don't happen on my stream, so it's harder for me to do that, I think. But yes, so those are some things that didn't work on the second channel here. Plans moving forward, unscripted videos. Should I upload reaction videos to video essays? This is an option. It sort of has to be a spur, like a big topical video essay. Again, like that Mauler video that Elite RE reacted to. We can't just upload reactions where I'm not saying much or stuff. But we aren't really involved in too many communities. Like, if there was a big Chainsaw Man Part 2 video that, like, predicted what was going to happen or something, we could watch that. But even then, like, do I even remember enough about Chainsaw Man Part 2 to have an opinion or something like that? We really should have capitalized, even though this wasn't really happening with Attack on Titan back in the day, where it's like, oh, a big Attack on Titan video, we should react to this and see if we agree or stuff. It sort of has to be something I'm, like, caught up and invested in and know a lot about, I think. I will think about this. There must be some that I can do. and we can trial it a little bit. Actually upload actual reaction videos. Now, me and Elite RE just discussed this last night, where it's like, I'm going to go visit Elite RE soon. And I think we will try to actually do like a Blind Wave style reaction to some sort of short show or something. So if you're still listening to this and you have any ideas, put them in the comments section below. Or catch Elite RE when he's streaming, like tonight or tomorrow night or something, depending on when this is uploaded. Because we probably will discuss it there. Something that's like 6 episodes or something. Fully Cooley would be perfect if Elite RE hasn't already seen it and didn't hate it. But yeah. So that's always an option. Other ideas, the Minecraft Worlds video. Now this is another problem because this is another idea I'm just stealing from Elite RE. We've got more tier lists, which I think I will be doing a Vinland Saga tier list pretty soon. Just because I'm trying to redo those outdated ones, and that's definitely one that could use, like, with the Berserk one I did, it was, like, funny because I was rearranging a bunch of shit, and Griffith got moved from D tier to S tier or whatever, and, like, the same thing would probably be done for, like, Hild and stuff in the Vinland Saga one, so that could be interesting and funny. Interview/article readings, and research stuff. These are all things that we could do and that could be interesting. I've just got to think about it a little bit more. More discussions with individual people. So now I've sort of got the breakdowns of the plans of certain things. So Star Wars / Blade Runner / Garden of Sinners / Naruto with Elite RE. These are like my 4 goals. We've agreed to Star Wars. I think Elite RE wants me to do Blade Runner, but I've decided recently that I would do it, but I don't think I've told him yet, so that's funny. Garden of Sinners, because Heath has been asking for it forever. Also, I almost pitched that as the reaction thing we could do to Elite RE, but there's a problem that I will have to pause to read the subtitles every, like, second line, because I won't be paying attention or something. So that probably disqualifies that. And then I've got to try and convince RE to start Naruto in 2025. Let's start the pressure chat. Tweet at Elite RE. Do Naruto, pussy. #2025. We'll make it happen. Then Bacon has verbally agreed to do Steins Gate with me. Now, I wanted to do this with RE, but RE likes the sub for Steins Gate, whereas me and Bacon like the dub, and we refuse to compromise. So this might be something I do individually with Bacon. We'd probably do 12-episode batches for both seasons of the show. And then I was like, oh, I can do something girly with Mia. That'll be fun. And then as the group, we've got Barkano, Lane, maybe some Ava. And then we've also talked about Legend of the Galactic Heroes. These could be the things for the full group. Barkano, I think, is going to be the first one. So that will be fun. If you've got any other discussion ideas, put them in the comment section below, or tell me which one you're most excited for. Consuming and talking about the things people care about. Netflix. Oh, this is sort of individual consuming things that I can then make videos about. The Netflix show, so Cowboy Bebop live action, which I've started episode 1 for, but if it gets any further away, it might be considered dropped. I've got to get back on that very soon. One Piece live action, things like Dan and Dune are all things that I think I'm probably interested in watching towards the beginning of this year. Dan will be a reading and probably watching too. And those are sort of like popular things that I think individual discussion videos could get views from. So these are all possible ideas moving forward for unscripted stuff. And now we're moving on to scripting. God, it's hot in here, chat. Oh my God, let's let some of that fucking air in. Oh, I'm alive again. Oh, statistics for streaming. Now, I didn't break this down a million ways because obviously streaming has been bad this year. It's been bad for a long time. I get like 3 viewers a stream. It's very funny. So this is my entire streaming career. The average viewership is now 7.7. The follows is 8. Do I really have 800 followers? Subscriptions 144. Now this counts each individual month. I've nearly made $400. And hours streamed 863 hours. That's kind of crazy. 800 hours in this car. Can you fucking believe it? That's insane. Probably accurate, but insane. The big jump here, probably in April of 2021, which is very funny because Attack on Titan. But yeah, it's down a lot. Obviously, these were break months. And going into here, our viewership's down, how many streams we do is relatively down, etc., etc. What worked with streaming this year? Using it as content therapy. True, sometimes I'm just like, oh, I haven't talked about 3 things, let me go talk about them on stream. And then I feel a little bit better afterwards. So streaming as therapy, that's one plus. Personality-wise, I think streams are better than ever. I think just saying shit is I'm probably the best I've ever been. But that's not saying much because we got what didn't work here. No content / repetitive streams, going over video essays, reacting to video essays, going over tweets, talking about things I've consumed. All these things require a viewer to be invested in me and my history. True, this is something we kind of talked about with the problem with secondary ENT. It's very pervasive in the streams where it's like, well, if you come to a stream, it's going to be me talking for about an hour and 30 minutes. Nothing else is really going to happen. Like, there's no events. There's no cool things that are going on. There's nothing special. It's the same thing every time, and it's for a very selected group of people, which we would like to change, I think, a little bit. I'm not entirely sure I have much of a plan on how to change streaming at the moment. Plus, we have the situational and location-based issues, which is lack of face cam, which probably would improve the stream, and limited by the battery life of the laptop, which is a very alien thing. Obviously, we've seen, especially in my little community here, that the Elite RE streams are also much more popular than my streams, just because they have these two things, I think. You can react to videos for longer, you can talk to people for longer, you can meander around a little bit because you can stream as long as you want, and then there's also a face cam there, which just makes streams more engaging for whatever reason. It makes it seem like more is going on. And then more community events. He spins the wheel sometimes. He'll have things to talk about. It's just sort of like what my streams should be, but aren't. And so possible plans moving forward. We could change locations. Again, I have no idea where I'm going to be in 2025. Everything's still very much up in the air. I could be moved. I could not be moved, etc., etc. And that would lead to face cam and desktop streams, which would both be better. And then we could also come up with a schedule. Do we want to stream 3 times a week? Do we want to do a Nuzlocke? Do we want to do individual React streams? Do we want to have a topic for streams as we come in? These are kind of the same old tired ideas, though. And the funny thing is, people don't like React streams. Like, whenever me and RE, or even RE by himself, reacts to something, his viewership usually goes down. When I do it, the viewership usually goes down. So that's interesting. A Nuzlocke, that was kind of the most popular my stream ever was, besides Attack on Titan related content, though they were kind of happening in tandem for a little while there, I think. It is fun. I just have to invest in doing one again. I'm always thinking that I should do that, but also I don't know if it would work anymore, etc., etc. People really excited, etc. I kind of need to re-jolt streaming, I think, a little bit before this, which would probably involve re-jolting secondary NT, which would probably involve re-jolting Kyle Entertainment, which basically everything kind of runs downstream from being a relevant YouTuber, which means more scripted videos need to come out. But anyway, that's our stream stuff. We don't have much on it because it's not that big of a focus. But now we have links here. Oh my god, we're getting out of the PowerPoint for a second. We've got to open these consumption threads. Hey, I'm trying to click here. There's actually a funny thing in the statistics here. So if we go year over year, the first year I did one of these was 2022, I think. I'm pretty sure. And if we look down on this, we've got Attack on Titan. I don't want to read through everything. Oh, and I also fucked up the thingy here. So you have to click on this, and then click on this, and then scroll through, and then click on this, and then I think we're fine because I think I stopped adding comments. But in the year 2022, we only had, I think it's 19? No, it's 17 things consumed. Not very much. Pokemon Scarlet, Apocalypse Now, The Lighthouse, House of the Dragon Season 1, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, etc., etc., Casablanca, Black Sails. You know what? I did put the Pokemon Indigo League rewatch on here, and then I didn't put the Orange Islands one on this year. So, that's a little weird. I'd forgotten I'd done this, and I don't really think I should have, so. But we go 17, and then for this one, oh my god, it opens at the very end. We've got 39, and that's for 2023. And wouldn't you know, we also have 39 for 2024. So we evened out. We've gotten better. Isn't that crazy? And last year was carried a lot by watching movies when I was in New Zealand, which is funny. So I'm kind of taking it as a victory that we consumed the most this year, but I also feel like we didn't consume much at all. I guess this was probably our most varied year. We had some video games, etc., etc. We can start from the beginning. We'll more go over this year's list. I just wanted to show the stats for this. We could probably make it to 50 next year, right? Elite already had like 60-something this year or something crazy. We replayed the Libra mod again. I definitely did this a second time this year because I'm addicted to this game. We watched Arcane Season 1. We watched Barry Lyndon. We watched We Are Lady Parts. We watched Shakespeare in Love. We watched Broadcast News. We watched Spotlight. We played Her Story. If you want to hear me talk about all these movies, I did a video very recently, which was a movie night catch-up where I talk about all of these. We played Her Story. We played Balatro. We read Mori and Ken-chan. We played Pokemon Grand Coliseum, the ROM hack. We rewatched Black Lagoon. We read Goodbye Yuri. We watched We Are Lady Parts Season 2. Now, I don't usually do different seasons, but this season only came out after I'd finished the last one. We're Season 3. We love We Are Lady Parts. What a great show. Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Part 2. We watched all of that. Polly Pokey Madoka Magica. And then the Madoka Magica movie. And then Gunbuster. And then X-Men, the first 3. Then House of the Dragon Season 2. Then Fleabag. Then Diebuster. Then we read Heavenly Delusion. Then Mr. McMahon. Then Challenges. Then Fire Punch. Then Arcane Season 2. Then Pokemon Pikachu Shorts rewatch. Pokemon the Movie 2000 rewatch. Crash 2. You Season 4. Gunsmith Cats, Ghost in the Shell, Crash Bandicoot 3, Project Echo, and Arrival. It's a varied list. I'm kind of happy this year. Not really a lot of big things that I've had like on my list forever. I guess Fleabag was on my list forever. You Season 4 was something I would be meaning to do. We got further into the Pokemon rewatch. That was a very big thing towards the end of the year, which it completely goes uncredited. The like 70-something Pokemon episodes I've watched, which, I did consume better in 2024. This is a thing we were up for. We reread Fire Punch, We read Heavenly Delusion. We read 2 manga. That's pretty good. I think that's more than last year. I don't think we did any last year. We watched a bunch of different shows. Gunbuster and Madoka Magica, I guess, have been on my list forever. Goodbye Yuri was something I had to get out of the way. Arcane 2. So I'm relatively happy with our consumption this year. We've sort of gone over what potentially will be on the consumption list next year. I'm ready to come out of the starts fast, or whatever you call it, in 2024 because in 2025 rather, because I'll probably finish the Crash Team Racing really early. I'll probably finish Barkano pretty early. I'm kind of still in a movie mood, so I might watch some movies soon. We got Cowboy Bebop live action that'll hopefully be on there early. Playing some more video games where we go on the Crash saga after that, etc., etc. All very, very, very exciting, huh? So that's media consumption. And then our last slide here is about video essay consumption. Oh, I was supposed to open all the spreadsheets and get them all ready, but I didn't open any of them. And compare them. This year was certainly less than the previous year, which was more than the previous year. Basically, it's gone in tandem, where I've been like, 2021, I watched a shit ton of videos. 2022, I didn't watch many videos at all. 2023, I watched a shit ton of videos. 2024, I really didn't watch many videos. See, only like 314. Though there are a few I've watched since that I haven't added. A bunch of Jacob Geller videos, etc., etc. About a week ago, I had decided that I was giving up on this, and I was like, I don't need to chronicle shit, and it's kind of annoying. I sort of like being able to watch video essays. Like, for the list, I made sure that, like, I sat at my computer, or I could watch it on my phone, but I have to be focusing on it and watching it. Whereas I think a lot of the fun in watching video essays is just having them on in the background and not treating them like a chore. And then I realized I would probably watch more video essays, because this is supposed to incentivize me to watch more essays. Just so I'm more in tune with what's going on in the community, etc., etc. But it was having the reverse effect of sort of I had gamified it to where I had to be fully paying attention. But I also do like adding things to the list. It like makes you feel like you've done something or something. But it's also a chronicle of all the ones you've seen, which is good. Plus, it would help you in making a year-end list if you actually had to. Though I've sort of given up on that. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just make a spreadsheet of like the best videos, Or maybe I'll just have a document that I write down so I can talk about things on stream. I'm not sure. Because I have been watching more video essays recently because I've just been opening ones. Like, usually what I'll do is I'll see an interesting one, I'll add it to the playlist, and I'll do it later. But really, the only time you're ever going to watch that video essay is if you click on it in that moment and open a new tab, you watch the first few minutes, and maybe it hooks you in and you watch the whole thing right away. Or maybe you just see it and you're like, oh, I'll leave it open, and then maybe you get to the tab. Or maybe you just decide, I don't really want to watch this, and then you don't have to bother. It's interesting. This is also a very cloudy, just like the streaming and the consumption, where it's more, I don't exactly know what I'm going to do moving forward. But we will see, I guess, is the moral of this story. And that's it. I feel like going into last year, I had this sort of mindset of like, this has to be the year where it works, or I have to like step back from things. I'm at a very uneven point in my life where I don't exactly know the forward direction. Forever I had the forward direction, which was the New Zealand stuff. But now I'm sort of at the moment, I'm at like the precipice of I could go in any direction. I have my girlfriend who's in New Zealand, but that's kind of rocky. Am I going to move to New Zealand? I would hope so, but that's kind of a two-party thing, and I don't know if that's what both of us want. I've got the New Zealand stuff, which is the wrestling stuff. I guess I'm being vague here, but if you're at the end here, you probably already know. I could always go back to that and continue that, but my interest in wrestling has kind of waned recently. Will that come back up? That's always an option. You can always go back there or pursue other paths in that road. Then there's this YouTube space where I'm not as depressed about it as I usually am, and I'm somewhat optimistic, so I could go full force into this. I also just got offered a promotion at my job that I'm kind of rejecting because I don't really want to do a normal job for the rest of my life. So it's like these four precipices of like, I could take any one of these through to the end and dedicate myself to either one of these four things, or probably like two of them at once, but not more than that. And right now, this stupid YouTube shit is probably number one, which is kind of out of my choice from that first one. And it's to the point where it's like, oh, all right, we've only got so many years to live, chat. So maybe this is we make it work in 2025, or we fucking only do unscripted videos for the rest of our life and coast and don't even think about it too seriously. We'll have to see. We just got to make some videos. I got to go inside right now. It's fucking, what is it, 1:30 p.m.? It's fucking hot as fuck. I'm sweating the fuck. I'm going to have a shower, and then I'm going to make that fucking Pokemon video. It's going to be finished and uploaded tonight. No, because then it would be this year, and that would be bad. We're going to set it up to be uploaded on the 1st. Now, wouldn't that be excellent? But we'll have to see. You know me, sometimes I just don't do it. Sometimes it's just frustrating. But we'll see. But I think that's the end of our great video here today. What a recap. What will 2025 hold? I'm kind of excited. It could go in any direction. And for most of these questions, I think I'll probably have the answers by the time we do this next year. So I want to hurry up and get to that point. Let's go. But anyway, we'll see you for all the very exciting things. Hopefully some of the potential future things excited you here today. We'll see you for all those things in the year of our Lord and Savior 2025. Support links in the description below. Thanks.